doesn't really feel like late October weather-wise, as it's been pretty warm, unseasonably warm, but I'm not going to complain because we all know what's coming in the coming weeks with winter just around the corner. But one thing we will do is talk about some news items affecting the Ontario Hockey League. And we're going to start off with the big trade from this morning, and it's between the Niagara IceDogs and the Peterborough Petes. Niagara trading their captain, Gavin Bryant, to the Peterborough Petes for Guelph's third-round pick in 2026 and Peterborough's ninth-round pick in 2028. Now, Gavin Bryant hasn't played yet this season. He was recovering due to an injury, and now that he's healthy, the IceDogs have decided to move him out to join a Peterborough Petes team that is desperate for offense, as Niagara and Peterborough have kind of gone in different directions. The Petes 0-9 to start the season, their worst start in franchise history. So they're looking for a boost of offense to get that team into the win column. While Niagara off to a very surprising 7-2 start. And since Gavin Bryant hasn't played, you're not affecting the lineup directly by removing him from the team. He is the team captain, as I mentioned, so there's that leadership quality being taken away. Although the Niagara IceDogs announcing a couple hours after the trade that Kevin He will become the next captain, the 19th captain in IceDogs history. And also to note for Barrie Colt fans, Jack Browdy has been named an alternate captain. So congratulations to he and Browdy. So back to this trade, Gavin Bryant, he will bring some offense to this Peterborough Petes team. In 62 games last season, he had 21 goals, 33 assists, good for 54 points. So I think Gavin Bryant, he'll be solid down the middle for this Peterborough Petes team. He didn't score too often when he was a member of the Owen Sound attack, but he did bring that grit. And he has that leadership quality as well. So I do like this trade for the Peterborough Petes. They didn't have to give up too much to acquire Gavin Bryant, which I'm sure for some IceDog fans, they probably would have liked to have seen a little bit more in return. But at this point in the regular season, overagers not going for as much as most teams have their OA situations figured out, like Niagara, because now that Gavin Bryant's out, they've got their 3 OAs now ready to go. But for Peterborough, in acquiring Gavin Bryant, they now have 4 overagers on their roster. And this comes after Liam Stuchka left for Shawinigan. So that's 4 forward overagers on this Peterborough Petes team. That's the lowest scoring team in the OHL. So some big decisions to be made here. So along with Gavin Bryant, you have Jonathan Malee, Chase Lefebvre, and Ryder McIntyre. So some big decisions to be made here. I'm almost wondering if McIntyre could be the odd man out unless they can get some assets for a player like Malee or Lefebvre, because you have a team, for example, the Brampton Steelheads, who do have an open OA spot available. So one of those 3, maybe if there's a possibility, they could end up being moved as well. So time will tell, but right now I do like this trade for the Niagara IceDogs, getting back some draft picks for Bryant, and Bryant will be able to bring his services to the Peterborough Petes, who are in desperate need of some goal scoring and, more importantly, a win. So we'll see what happens there. Now, some good news for fans in Sault Ste. Marie as the Greyhounds getting some late arrivals, as Owen Allard has been returned from Tucson. He suffered a back injury, and he was being held in Tucson with the Roadrunners just as a precautionary measure. Allard was drafted by the Utah Hockey Club and was sent down to Tucson, and now he's on his way to Sault Ste. Marie. He actually arrived earlier today, which is great news for Greyhound fans, as Owen Allard, a great forward piece for this team. He was outstanding last season for the Greyhounds as they went all the way to Game 7 in the second round of the Western Conference playoffs. So we'll see how this all transpires. And of course, this also comes after Swedish defenseman Noah Nordh. He arrived to the Sioux Greyhounds as well, a late import addition. He was also with the Tucson Roadrunners, so a couple players with a Tucson connection now with the Sioux Greyhounds. And this is a Sault Ste. Marie team that's been playing some decent hockey of late. They have had some big wins against teams like the Saginaw Spirit and the Kitchener Rangers, who are top teams in the Western Conference at the time of recording. So don't count Sault Ste. Marie out just yet. And I think these late additions of Allard and Nordh are going to really help this team. We'll see if they'll stay competitive. It's still a long season. At the trade deadline, I think there's going to be some big decisions that will have to be made for the Sioux Greyhounds as they look to this playoff and also to the future of the organization. Now, speaking of the future, Ryan Kennedy from the Hockey News announcing that some sources are suggesting the next CBA for the National Hockey League could feature AHL eligibility for 19-year-old players from the CHL. So right now, for example, if a player is drafted from the OHL, they have to play in either the NHL or in junior up until their overage season. And that's when they can play in the American Hockey League, like Allard, who is then sent back to the OHL by the parent club. So under this new CBA, this would mean 19-year-olds could stay in the American Hockey League. And it's kind of a situation that's playing out right now, for example, is Easton Cowan of the London Knights, who is, you could say, too good for junior. He's done everything that he could, except maybe dominate and get another OHL championship with the London Knights, or he'd be better suited in the American Hockey League because he's not quite ready for the NHL. So that's why they want to change the CBA agreement for players such as Easton Cowan. We also saw Shane Wright last season. He could have come back to the OHL, but he was given exceptional status to play in Coachella Valley with the Firebirds in the American Hockey League, as he wasn't quite ready to play in Seattle, but he didn't have anything else to prove in the OHL. So Shane Wright last year got that exceptional status, and for the CBA, maybe there'll be rules in place that only first-round picks could go to the AHL at the age of 19, or even first or second rounds. Either way, this will have a bit of an impact on the OHL for players that are eligible at that age to maybe go to the AHL, but I think it's on a player-by-player basis, depending on where they're at and where they see their farm system too. So we'll stay tuned on that. Nothing's been made official as the CBA negotiations are about to pick up for the NHL. But then you also have to factor in, we're still waiting for the vote from the NCAA about allowing CHL players to commit to the NCAA. So it's kind of you're getting a lot more options here for the players. They can either go pro early at 19 or hold out to go to the NCAA once they're at that age. So there's still a lot of things to be figured out. There's a lot of balls in the air if you're juggling right now, if you're into that. But we'll have to wait and see how this all comes together. So some interesting news when it comes to player development going forward. And finally, I just wanted to touch on this. The Meridian Center in St. Catharines has celebrated its 10th anniversary. Where has time gone? I started covering the OHL in the 2007-2008 season with the Niagara IceDogs when they moved to St. Catharines. And that was when they were playing in the Jack Gatecliff Arena. And if you went there, you know what I'm talking about. It had the wooden benches. It had a capacity of 3,000. The fans were on top of the ice. It was a Junior B surface. And at the time, there was so much excitement. But the big question was, would Niagara stay in St. Catharines? And it all was about the new arena. They had to have a new arena if they were going to stay in Niagara region. And eventually they built the Meridian Center. And the IceDogs had some good runs there early on after opening the new facility. As a broadcaster, the vantage point for the visiting radio was inside the blue line, which made it a little tough. So I think that's the only flaw I found with the new building. But other than that, it's a spectacular venue. If you haven't had a chance to check out Meridian Center, definitely worth the drive up the QEW. But still, just making you feel old. It's now 10 years since the IceDogs moved into Meridian Center. So that's how I see it from the booth. I just wanted to touch on these news items. It's now my second time recording this video as my computer was giving me some issues, but it's all fun. We get to talk OHL hockey, which I love to do, and I can't wait to be back in the booth. And yeah, so don't forget to hit like and subscribe as I was starting to go down a rabbit hole. Don't need to go there. And yeah, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I think I might have just said that. And we'll talk to you soon.